In this world of technology, things are ever changing, rearranging. You need someone to help you out. I know someone who can. Come and take a journey with me as we go through the land of technology. You'll never be alone. You'll be with Paul Amadeus Lane in the tech zone.
You are in the tech zone. I am Paul Amadeus Lane. Thank you so much for tuning in to ABC News Radio KMET. If you're watching on live stream, YouTube, listening on iHeart, all the different formats out there, thank you. Remember, you can also like and share the episodes if you are catching up on the podcast. We really appreciate it. Send us a comment. Let us know what you think about the great guests that we have, some of the content, because we aim to please, in the words of the great rap group Houdini. Special orders don't upset us. If you want it done right, then won't you let us serve you your way? Yeah. I talk a little hip-hop sometimes on the show. Old school hip-hop and everything. All right. What if I told you out there that you can now store your valuables, your medications, paperwork, I talked about medications, I'm being redundant right now, but anything that you don't want anybody to go into and take and look maybe on some privacy. I ran across a company out there that is doing some incredible innovation when it comes to this. It's really like a digital lockbox. Wouldn't it be nice that on your phone you had an app that you can lock the box, you can open the box. Maybe you want a friend or a family member to go in there and grab something for you. You can do that. You let them in. They don't have to hunt for a key. And what if you just want to make sure that nobody has broken in and saw some things you don't want people to see? Well, my next guest talks about what his innovation is doing, but he also shares just the journey of what brought him to CES and just what his innovation can do for you and I. So without any further delay, let's make it happen.
We have Scott Leopard joining me from Trova. How are you doing, my friend?
I am doing great. Thank you so much for having me.
Now, Scott, did I say it wrong? Was it Trova or Trova?
Trova.
Trova, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Trova.
Sorry about that. Sometimes the mouth gets kind of dry and stuck sometime. I need an artificial intelligence in my pronunciation, don't I?
That's I understand that.
Hey, but welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you for having us.
And you and I had a chance to chat a little bit before I brought you on. Just to talk about this piece of innovation. I let you know that I read something about your company,
yep.
And I was really intrigued. And I was so glad you decided to come to the booth to talk about it.
Absolutely.
And before we delve deep into this piece of innovation, tell us the story behind this piece of great innovation.
Yeah, it's a great story. So my wife and I are the co-founders of this brand, and it really is a bootstrap startup. And so my wife, one day, we've got two young kids, and one day she felt like she needed a little bit more privacy and peace of mind. She has a tendency to be a little bit of a worrywart. And she started looking around for some lock boxes or something that she could store in her purse or maybe keep out on the countertop at home that would keep our two boys' hands, out of it. And then we started talking to people, and we realized that, maybe you have roommates and you've got roommates that you want to keep their prying eyes out of a few things, or maybe you're at work and you take something to work you don't want everybody to know about. We really started to orient around this concept that discretion is something that people would like to be able to exercise with some of the items that are in their life. And there's not a great modern solution on the marketplace. And so we started the design process, and here we are a couple of years later at our first CES.
Now, were you initially in the tech field, or
no?
What made you even want to tackle tech?
Well, my wife and I have been in the sales side of the business. I've been at CES a number of times with some of the brands that I've worked with, but just from a sales side. And, I think probably ignorance is bliss to some degree. We sort of thought that we knew enough to get ourselves in trouble around design and manufacturing and marketing and sales. And so it's kind of where we are today, maybe a little bit in trouble.
And Scott, the cool thing about it is, since you were here as on the sales side of CES, I remember when I first started, I had my own consumer electronics company back in the late 90s. So I would come here and everything and check it out. And I never thought in a million years that I would be out here as a member of the media when I went to broadcasting school. But it's interesting how serendipity kind of works out sometimes, right? But when you were here on the sales side, did you ever think and imagine, like, hey, if I ever have a product since I have the sales background, I'm ahead of the curve when it comes to like trying to read people, trying to just to gauge the market out there, especially when it comes to something like this.
I think one of the things I'm most thankful for is that in my background, through the last 20 years of my career, I was able to build a network of people that could really help me get to where we are today. I don't think I'm ahead of the curve with anybody, but I think with my network of people, they've been able to help connect me to the right folks, throughout the whole process, whether it be design, creative direction, whether it's our engineering partners, our manufacturing partners. Throughout the whole process, we've been able to work with people that are either 1 degree separated from us, my wife and I, or 1 degree separated from people that we've worked with directly. We've been really fortunate to tap into a network of people that have a lot of expertise and a lot of experience, and we've got a great set of advisors that have helped us get us where we are today.
And that's the cool thing about relationships.
Yes.
Never burn that bridge. Remember, I learned that at a very young age. And when you're able to build that network over the years, you never know who's going to have your back later on.
Yeah.
Later on in life, especially when you try different things. And when you look at taking that leap of faith and creating this piece of innovation, what was the most challenging part of it?
I think the most challenging part over the last year has been the emotional roller coaster. So we're in market with our smallest size, the Trova Go, and there's days that we sell units, and there's days we don't sell any, and those days you don't sell any are a little bit harder to find the positivity in the whole project, and you start wondering, is it working? Is it not working? I think that the most challenging part is just managing the emotional roller coaster. I think the next most challenging part is probably being the jack of all trades. That's the thing I love about being an entrepreneur, is that there's always something to work on, and you can always continue to move the ball forward across a lot of different things. But there's so many areas that I'm not an expert in that you have to navigate making decisions inside of spaces that you're not necessarily the expert for.
And I remember speaking to some of my friends here at the CTA many years ago, and it was the CEA. Scott remembers that. Mm-hmm. And just talking about the forward thinking of where technology was going to go. Mm-hmm. A few years ago, we had no idea that we would see a lot of connected devices.
Right.
And looking at your device in particular, explain how that works.
So the connection for the Trova Go, our smallest size, is a Bluetooth connection to your smartphone. So your phone verifies whether or not it's you trying to open the device itself, and won't let anybody else other than the paired and authorized user open the Trova itself. So it stays locked in that situation. On the Trova Home, we've actually added Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. So there's the option for the primary user to authorize secondary users, up to about 6 different users. And also then those primary users can get notifications on who's entered the box and who's tried to get into it throughout the day. There's a motion sensor, so it's tamper-proof. It'll let you know if somebody's tried to move it or something like that. So the connection is both an Internet of Things device as well, and a smart home device, as well as just a Bluetooth connection one-to-one paired to your phone. And
looking at the different sizes that you have, Scott, you have sizes that we can put some makeup in, we can put some jewelry in, we can put some nice gold rings in there. Why was it important to have different sizes?
Different sizes. Well, when we started talking to our consumers, we found that there were so many different use cases. There's 4 that really set out as our primary use cases, but the result of that research was that we needed to design something that met people's lifestyle. This is meant to be a daily use item. It's something that you get into in your home every day or bring with you, in your work bag every day. And so because of that daily use nature, we needed to have multiple sizes to address different people's needs for the product itself. So those primary use cases are really around prescription drugs. Everybody says lock up your opiates. Nobody ever does it because there's nothing that's actually elegant that you'd want to leave on your bathroom countertop. So we got a nice solution for that now. Jewelry, as you mentioned, valuables and things like that. We also find a lot of people using it for vapes and recreational products. And then lastly, on the home size, because we have internal USBs, a lot of people will actually use it next to their bedstand for maybe some other things they'd like to exercise discretion around. My children are going to be scarred for life when they figure out that those were not neck massagers.
You brought me back to an old memory. I remember I must have been 5 or 6 years old, and my mom had some little pills in her drawer. I thought it was candy. Mm-hmm. Those birth control pills. Yeah. So it's one of those things where I'm glad you built something like that.
Yeah, thank you. It's about exercising discretion, a little bit of responsibility, but ideally what you put in here is items that you want to exercise discretion around.
Yeah.
Things you just want to keep either curious hands or prying eyes off of.
Now, you talked about how it will know it's us if we try to open.
Yes.
Talk about how the innovation works again, if you don't mind.
It's basically a simple app-based control, Bluetooth connection to your phone. So your phone actually verifies you as the user when you go to open it. And on the Trova Go, this size here, only one Trova can pair to one phone. So nobody else can, get into that connection. You're the only person that can open that device. On the home version, where we add in Wi-Fi, we have multiple users capable. And so you can designate administrator, essentially users, and then secondary users that have access but are not administrator capable. So we could say, hey, we want, our kid to be able to get into this. I don't know that we would do that, but maybe there's somebody else in our family that we want to be able to allow access to it. In that situation, you can have the choice to turn on smart notifications. So the second that person came near the box, the Bluetooth connection kicks in. That registers the user as being paired to the device. That then creates the log that will keep track of who's accessed it. And you can also turn on the notification to know in real time that somebody's accessing the box. I don't particularly need to exercise that level of control.
Right.
Or insight into what my wife is doing on a regular basis, but some people do like to know what their partners are doing, and certainly in the case of any sort of opiate addiction or something like that, it can be a really useful device to make sure that people aren't overusing something that they may need to use on a daily basis.
That's what I like about it too. Like someone like myself who has a disability, how my family members will be able to monitor if I'm taking my medication.
Right.
Also, not being able to turn a lock box myself, having something that's, phone based, makes it a lot easier.
Yep.
So I think you hit a home run.
I hope so.
Here, Scott, when it comes to this piece of innovation, just some of the use cases in my mind, I'm like, hey, somebody can use it here, use it there, use it there. And I think it's like that old Well Boston commercial. Remember? Tell two friends and so on and so on and so on. So that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to tell two friends and so on and so on and so on. So how can ones find out more information about Trova?
So we are up on the web at trovaofficial.com. It's Trova official.com, and both of our products are available for sale today. The small size we can ship today, and the large size will be available in about 120 days. So we're just finishing up the engineering on that project right now.
I enjoy talking to Scott. He's funny guy. I don't know if you caught it in the interview. He talked about his wife. And tell you a funny story. It was either a day or a couple days after we did this interview. We had an opportunity to meet his wife. His wife was awesome. She came in. She said, I heard that my husband said something while on the air. And she said, yeah, it's true. So we all kind of cracked up. So I told him, I said, hey, we want to get you guys on later on in the year, talk about how things are going, and just see what's been happening since CES. She said, good. She said she wants to do it so she can get the revenge on Scott. So, Scott, I tell you, man, something tells me your wife's going to tell all about your secrets. So we look forward to that. All right. When we get back, I had an opportunity to operate a pizza robot at CES 2020. It was so cool. And the thing about it was kind of the best pizza I ever tasted. Was it because that I made it? I'm not sure. But you don't want to miss this coming up right after these messages. We'll be right back.
In this world of technology, things are ever changing, rearranging. You need someone to help you out. I know someone who can. Come and take a journey with me as we go through the land of technology. You'll never be alone. You'll be with Paul, Amadeus, Lane in the tech zone.